Remember when Trump said that he will make America great again?
America Grande Ultra Best.
Well, actually, he has only made it more expensive for everyone, not only in the US, but also here in Latam. Welcome to our English section in Datéate. This section is going to be going over all of the things that are on TikTok and social media for you to do not believe everything you see on the internet and have informative decisions about everything that is online. Around Holy Week, 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump put tariffs on 145% to China. So what does that mean? So basically, products that come from China to the United States are going to be more expensive, so US people are going to pay more, and the manufacturers in China are going to have to raise their prices to have better revenue. Because of this, a huge polemic just started on TikTok. So a manufacturer called Song started saying that his factory makes more than 90% of all luxury products of the world.
The bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. But now, close your eyes. Let's just do a little, very easy experiment in your head, okay? Imagine that you have Hermes bag and suddenly the label on it changed from made in France into made in China, while everything else like leathers, zippers, and hardware remain the same. Do you suddenly feel that your bag is not as luxury as before? If you do, that means you have been misled and poisoned by the market campaign of those luxury brands for too long. Welcome to the real world.
So, here in Datéate, we investigated that to see if it's actually possible from him and those Chinese manufacturers to do those claims. So, because of this, we're going to go over a few facts for you to know if this is real or not. We're going to start with the thing that made the most polemics, which is the Birkin bag that has the price of $38,000, and Wonsang says that you can buy it in their factory for $1,400. So, before you go into China and think that you're going to be buying our Hermes bag, think twice. So, we investigated the suppliers from Hermes and we found that they have a list of 50 that are like on the top of their suppliers, and they have an average of 19 years of relationship between Hermes and the supplier. So because of this, we think that is less likely that the manufacturer from France, if he even sells something to Hermes, is part of those 50 top vendors that Hermes buys more from. We found another thing. Hermes doesn't have an exclusivity agreement with most of their suppliers. So it means that maybe some of those can sell leather to those Chinese manufacturers, and maybe some of those bags can be made with the same leather from Hermes. However, we found that Hermes makes 61% of their products in exclusive in-houses in France. We did another analysis, and it says that 50 of those top vendors are mostly in France. 56% is in France, and the rest is in another country, but inside the European Union. Another thing that we found that can be a point for the Chinese manufacturers is that 7% of some of the materials Hermes uses in their products may come from countries outside the European Union. So they say that maybe it's like an exclusive leather. However, we have that percentage that of course may come from Asia or even Africa or Latin America. Another thing that we analyze is that maybe if this Chinese manufacturers is one of those top vendors from Hermes, probably he won't be able to disclose all of that information because he actually will be violating the confidentiality agreement. Even though they don't have an exclusivity agreement, they do have an confidential agreement and they cannot talk about those things online. We have one last fact. So if you want to get L'Origine France Guarantee label, you really need to make your product at least in a 50% in France. And as we saw, Hermes makes 61% of their products in France, and they also have 60% of their workers in France. So it means that, of course, they can put that their products are made in France because of these statistics. There's like a 39% of those that may not be made in France. So that's a fact that you have to know. this was all for today. Remember to always verify the information. You cannot go running to that Chinese manufacturer to buy a product that they are saying is Hermes just because you saw it on TikTok, but you cannot just go to Hermes and pay almost $40,000 for a bag that you don't even know where does it come from. So it's better for you to make informative decisions. This was Datéate TV in this section, and I am Gabriela Rincon.